Here we go, gang. Oh, you know what? I should probably change the thumbnail. Let's do that real quick, because that's not the right one. I'm going to do this while we're talking. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm happy you're here. And now, that looks a little better. Ta-da! Anyway, the President of the United States is over in Europe, Eastern Europe, in a little country that we're spending a lot of money. He's over there checking on our investment. And there's other stuff going on in the news. But where is everybody? It's Monday. And I don't see everybody here. Well, I figure y'all they'll show up eventually. But there's more likes than people here. That's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. So I'll take it. Anyway, I hope you're having a good weekend. I certainly did. And now we'll talk about all the stuff that came up over the weekend. But anyway, are y'all ready? I guess you are. Shall we? Johnny, please play that intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yep. Happy Monday. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we throw money at countries that really are going to have no return on investment. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, let's put it this way. If this works out the way Joseph Rahim Biden wants it to, and Ukraine has a stunning victory, and the Russians are repelled, and Ukraine becomes a full, flourishing democracy with great, GDP and all that other stuff, they're going to owe us a shit ton of money. And, of course, they're going to get 10% for the big guys. So, it can all work out. It can all work out. Look, and guess what? Also, Ukraine will be the best equipped military in that part of Europe, that part of the world. So what could go wrong with the flourishing democracy that is Ukraine? So anyway, let's say hi and get this thing started. First, over in the chat on Rumble is Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. What the hell's going on here? There we go. Wake up, people! Wake up! Why can't I hear myself? That's weird, too. I got to turn that monitor up. Also, Simon Wolfwood's over on Rumble. And, boy, it's a quiet day. Is it because it's President's Day? Is everyone out celebrating President's Day or something? I don't get it. I don't get it. There's nobody here. Well, you're here, obviously. You who are there are here, but it's weird. It's like an empty studio. It feels awkward. Anyway, over on YouTube, welcome to Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell over there too. Good morning to Chicago Mike, Rabbit, which that's just another one of you, isn't it? Wow, it wouldn't let me chat. It said I was not a subscriber, though I clearly am. I had to reload 3 times. Well, that's weird. I don't know about that. Also, we'll call you a boomer for that mistake. I don't know what mistake I made. What mistake did I make? Oh, see? I know it's you, because that's when I started, it said stream is ending, but usually nobody's here that early to know that. So anyway, it was clearly starting and I fixed it, so we're all good. Anyway, also good morning. I said Chicago Mike. Simon Wolfwood's also on YouTube. Jay Pylon's in the house. Reaction Puerto Rico is in the house. Good morning, HP Lovecraft. Good morning, Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost. Good morning, Tyre. How you doing? I said HP Lovecraft. Let's see. Somnambul Nation, what's up? Good to see you. Special Can Acid. And Don Julio. Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. And Maddie's in the house. Hello, Maddie. Nice to see you. So I suppose people are going to roll in slowly. This is weird because I had this thing started like 20 minutes early just to get notifications out on YouTube, and that's just strange. Jimmy Das Hotep over on Rumble. Nice to see you, sir. Good morning. Where are the F is Congress? Oh, that's right. They passed an enormous budget funding everything. Yeah, they're just they can rest on their laurels now, I guess. Anyway, so the big news this morning, and everyone seems to be thrilled about it, is that the president of the United States is over in Kiev. So, anyway, oh God, I got this guy arguing with me on Twitter. It's always funny, that people argue about stupid shit, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the big thing right now, oh wait, that should be over there. I gotta move some of this stuff. Wait, what is this? Oh yeah, Stacey Abrams has a little issue too, but I'm gonna start with the big news of today that everyone's gonna be talking about, and there's arguments for and against what's happening. Oh, I see Rotten Corpse in the house. Good to see you. The president of the United States is over in Kiev, Ukraine. Okay. And so I'm going to show you how the AP writes this up because I want to show. Oh, I got to make sure. Oh, I didn't even open that today. See, I'm not quite as prepared, even though I've been here for a long time this morning. I should probably be a little more prepared than I am. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise. Lots of stuff going on this morning. So, or there's lots of things being talked about this morning. I should say it that way. There's lots of news. So let's start with, what the hell? Let's start with Biden in Kiev. Let me center this. Why is this off-centered? This is so weird. I know I had these set up right. Anyway, here we go. Biden declares Kiev stands in a surprise visit to Ukraine. Now, yeah, it does. This is, again, it's the AP. AP is very pro-Biden, which is fine. I don't care. They can be whatever they want to be. President Joe Biden, Joseph Rahim Biden. 1 year anniversary. What? Wait, 1 year anniversary is the 24th or the 22nd, depending on which Putin's speech statement the West believes officially started the war on the 22nd of February. Yes, me and Lady Boomer's wedding anniversary, which is in 2 days. I think that's when the war started. At least that's what I remember. I remember them complaining about it on my wedding anniversary last year. Speaking of Gulf City, their premiere is tonight. Oh, is it? What are they doing tonight? I don't know. Hello, Lord Stanhope, and Fox B2 also showed up. Anyway, here's how the AP does it. President Joe Biden paid an unannounced visit to Ukraine on Monday to meet with President Vladimir Zelensky this is great. In a defiant display of Western solidarity. With the country still fighting what he called a brutal and unjust war, days before the 1 year anniversary of the Russian invasion. 1 year later, Kiev stands, Biden declared after meeting Zelensky on Mariinsky Palace, jamming his finger for emphasis on his podium. Well, I don't want to know where he was jamming his finger. Against a backdrop of 3 flags from each country. Wait, 3 flags from each country. What does that mean? 3 flags, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I don't see the third one, but maybe it's up in the air or something. He continued, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands. The Americans stand with you, and the world stands with you. Okay. I'm not sure about that democracy in Ukraine because they've basically outlawed all political parties and, taken away some speech rights and all kinds of things. But hey, whatever. Democracy stands and the world stands with you. And look, fuck the Russians too, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, Biden spent more than 5 hours in the Ukraine capital, consulting with Zelensky on next steps, honoring the country's fallen soldiers and seeing U.S. embassy staff in the besieged country. Now, I'm surprised the embassy staff are still there. The visit comes at a crucial moment. Biden is trying to keep allies unified in their support for Ukraine and his investments, as the war is expected to intensify with spring offensives. Zelensky is pressing allies to speed up delivery of promised weapon systems and calling on the West to provide fighter jets, something that Biden has declined to do. Oh, well, that's because Biden's going to need the fighter jets against all those 2A advocates back in the States, so he can't be giving up fighter jets, right? And Morty Trippy Liberty, what's up? The visit comes at a crucial moment. Oh, I already said that. The U.S. president got a taste of the terror that Ukrainians have lived for close to a year when air raid sirens howled just as he and Zelensky wrapped up a visit to the gold-domed St. Michael's Cathedral. Looking solemn, they continued unperturbed, very brave, as they laid 2 wreaths and held a moment of silence at the Wall of Remembrance honoring Ukraine soldiers killed since 2014, the year Russia annexed Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula and Russia-backed fighters erupted in eastern Ukraine. Wait a minute. Did they say 2014? 2014? Wasn't that during the Obama presidency? Because I saw that someone say that earlier today, too, or mentioned on Twitter, saying, and Russia started this war in 2014. And I was like, wait a minute, 2014? Then why did he start? Then I remembered, they took over the Crimea Peninsula. And then since then, really not has gone on. Not much more has gone on. They hadn't pushed any more. Because, of course, Ukraine didn't find any more oil for Russia to try to take over. But anyway, so this is so strange. Biden should be scared about sirens. His helicopter was brought down. I remember that one too. Yeah, he once said he had a helicopter shot down and whatever. So anyway, looking some, they continue unperturbed. Blah, 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 blah. The White House would not go into specifics, but National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that it notified Moscow of Biden's visit to Kiev shortly before his departure from Washington for deconfliction purposes. Wow, deconfliction, that's an interesting term. Let me see. I'm going to look up the exact definition, although I could probably infer it from that sentence. Deconfliction. To change the flight path of an aircraft or weapon in order that there is less chance of an accidental collision, to resolve contradictory conclusions or responses to queries in a rule-based or deductive reasoning system, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so they wouldn't, because if they bombed Kiev while the president was there, that would probably not be a good idea. At least that would definitely start World War III, I would think, if Biden can remember or even hear it. But anyway, in an effort to avoid any miscalculations that could bring the 2 nuclear-armed nations into direct conflict. Well, we're kind of in direct conflict because we keep sending them, Ukraine, all a bunch of these weapons and shit. But anyway, now here's the part that I wanted to get to. And this is like, I am just flabbergasted that this is necessary. So in Kiev, Biden announced an additional $500 million in U.S. assistance on top of the more than $50 billion already provided for howitzers, anti-tank missiles, air surveillance radars, and other aid, but no new advanced weaponry. So we're going to give him another $500 million. Now, didn't they so they'd already pretty much provided what? I want to say 50, it's like 60 some billion dollars. Okay. And then they just recently added $47 billion, not million, $1 billion to the pot, which is going to be weapons and whatever. I'm assuming when they give them weapons, the weapons are armed weapons, or they just give them the weapons and no shells. And now another $500 million in U.S. assistance. Now, Ukraine has been pushing for battlefield systems that would allow its forces to strike Russian targets that have been moved back from the frontline areas out of range of HIMARS missiles that have already been delivered. So now, so the Russian targets moved out of the frontline areas, and they want missiles that can reach them farther away. Zelensky said he and Biden spoke about long-range weapons and the weapons that may still be supplied to Ukraine, even though it wasn't supplied before, but he did not detail any new commitments. Our negotiations were very fruitful, Zelensky added. Now, Biden's mission with this visit to Kiev, which comes before a scheduled trip to Warsaw, Poland, is to underscore that the United States is prepared to stick with Ukraine as long as it takes to repel the Russian forces, even as public opinion polling suggests the U.S. and allied support for providing weaponry and direct economic assistance has started to soften. Oh, you think? You think? Maybe? Just maybe? When there's disasters at home that we're not really, imagine how far that money could going home. Of course, they did provide the greatest infrastructure bill in the history of all infrastructure bills that they pass every few years, and it's not really anything new. So, for Zelensky, the symbolism of having the U.S. president stand side by side with him on Ukrainian land as the anniversary nears is no small thing as he prods allies to provide more advanced weaponry and step up delivery. I thought it was critical that there not be any doubt, none whatsoever, about U.S. support. Oh, that's Biden speaking. I'm sorry, I'm doing an Eastern European accent that doesn't necessarily sound like Zelensky. Mike Savage, blarg. Nice to see you. Annalyn's in the house. Grilling Pirate Pete, what's up? So anyway. Oh, and then now it's funny because it doesn't say that this is an editorial, right? This do you see anywhere up here? It does not say editorial, does not say opinion. It says AP News. Now, let's read the next line because it's very dramatic. Biden's visit was a brazen rebuke to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who had hoped his military would swiftly overrun Kiev within days. Biden, a Democrat, because nobody knew that President Biden was a Democrat, recalled speaking with Zelensky on the night of the invasion, saying, "That dark night was 1 year ago, and the world was literally at the time bracing for the fall of Kiev, perhaps even the end of Ukraine." Were they really now? I don't know. I don't know what I have. No, look, I think the Russian motive is that oil in eastern Ukraine, just like it was I think the Russian motive in Crimea was the oil in Crimea, because that's where Russians been getting their money. And there's huge oil reserves in the eastern Ukraine. There's huge oil reserves in Crimea. They were starting to make deals with giant oil companies for the extraction of that oil. And the Russians like, hey, one time this was part of our empire, and we think there's a lot of Russian people in this part of that empire. We think we should just take this back because we're worried about Russian people. Nah, this is a fight over resources, just like most wars are fight over resources. You realize no one is fighting over no one's having to create a war over the Mojave Desert, or no one's creating a war over the whatever that desert over there in that big desert area in Africa. No one's having a war over those areas, because there's no resources. But the Sahara, that's what I was thinking, the Sahara. No one's having a big war over the Sahara because right now they haven't discovered any resources there. Boy, I bet you what, if somebody discovers oil deep in the Sahara that has like the biggest oil reserve ever found ever, damn well there'd be a war over that too, because we have wars over resources. That's what humans have done since the beginning of time. So there you go. Let's see. A year later, the Ukrainian capital remains firmly in Ukrainian control. Well, duh. That's good. That's a good thing. I don't mean to poo-poo it, but it's like, I don't think the Russians really give a shit about Kiev because that's not where the oil is. Although a semblance of normalcy has returned to the city, right? Well, yeah. You know what? Here's the other thing. So a lot of people are thinking this is, oh, wow, Biden's so brave for going to Kiev and whatever. And which is, it's interesting because a U.S. this is I can't remember the outlet saying that this is the first time a U.S. president has visited a war zone where no American troops were involved, right? Because, like Trump went to Afghanistan and George W. Bush made some trips to the Middle East, so did Obama, and, but to visit their troops there, right? And that's great morale builder for our own military personnel. But there's no military, in theory, none of our military personnel are over there. In theory, I'm sure we have some advisors or some shit over there, but they're kept quiet. They're kept really quiet. Hello, Quippers. Jack, what's up, Jack? And also Aaron Meredith, what's up? Okay, so, and then they just go into some, they go into some details about some fighting there and whatever. So anyway, now, the reason I looked this up this morning, because, one, people are talking about it, right? Trump went into Korea. That is technically a war zone, and there are no American troops there. Well, there's American troops on the South Korean side. He only took a few steps in North Korea. But I see, good point. That is a good point, AD. Trump went into Korea. That is still technically a war zone, and there are no American troops there. True. And that was, that was a risky part too. But, I think Kim Jong-un probably knew better than to do anything with the president of the United States at that time, because basically Donald Trump already told him how our certain weapon systems that could turn North Korea into glass actually work. And it would have been, oh boy, would that have been so. But now, had they kidnapped the president at the time, oh boy, I don't know if that would have been a good thing. So they, I don't think Trump was at a huge risk there, knowing that Kim Jong-un probably knew better. So anyway, now the reason I noticed this morning, of course, it's becoming my favorite Twitter account. I'm just saying, and not because I agree with it, because it's so breathtakingly propagandistic and stupid at times, would be Mr. Brian or Ed either of the Krasenstein brothers. And here's the tweet that got me looking at this. And I got people arguing with me because I replied to it in a certain way, and they're all butthurt about it. So Ed Krasenstein decided to tweet this. Breaking: President Biden just made a surprise visit to Kiev, Ukraine, to meet with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. He's not scared of Putin like Trump was. He's not Putin's lapdog. He's Dark Brandon, and Republicans can't stand how brave he is fighting for freedom. Okay, here, let me just put something in the chat. That will symbolize my feelings about that particular tweet. Give me a second. I can do it over here. I should do it on this side too. Oh, I can't figure out. Maybe I can copy and paste that into Rumble too, because I think you need to see what my response to that is. Yes. Oh, it works for Rumble too. So there we go. Here's my response to that tweet. Dude. Now, in the other part, well, I'll tell you the other part in a minute, but so I was thinking, I'm not really sure what that means, Ed. It's not like he's not scared of Putin like Trump was. Well, Putin's not scared of Biden. Otherwise, he wouldn't have went into Ukraine during the Biden administration, or the Obama administration for that matter, because he certainly didn't attack Ukraine during the Trump administration. So maybe it's the other way around. Putin doesn't give a shit what Biden thinks. He went right into Ukraine, and now they're having to make this dog and pony show on the screen here. Now I'll give Biden credit for one thing. He puts his I should say he puts his feet where his mouth is. Well, that he does quite often because he's very good at putting his feet where his mouth is. But he also happens to, he goes over there and does what he does and makes the show like an American president probably should. If they're giving a country $100 billion, they should probably go over there and see what they're paying for. So anyway, quick, someone find a pic of Trump and Putin in conference with Trump lording over him. Yeah, that too. So I have to laugh at Ed Krasenstein. He's got to be one of the funniest accounts out there. Now the other one though, there was here's the other one too. This is the other one he sent, and this one really annoyed me, but it's Ed Krasenstein, so it's just how it is. And again, I gotta be frank. Ed Krasenstein is actually fairly nice person, like when he actually has to talk to people, but he's just a propaganda machine. And it's amazing to me. Here's the other one that I just have to laugh about, where he said this as it comes up. Trump hid in an underground bunker while Americans protested in the streets. President Biden flew into the middle of war in Kiev, Ukraine on President's Day and walked the streets as air raid sirens blared. One man stands for world freedom and peace, while the other stood only for his narcissistic self. Ed, sometimes I compared this to comparing apples to lava lamps. First of all, Trump didn't hide in an underground bunker because Americans were protesting in the streets, you dumbass. Okay. Trump was taken to the underground bunker by the Secret Service because there was an attempted breach of the White House. That would be Secret Service protocol. His entire family was taken when the protesters attempted to breach one of the gates, set it on fire, were repelled by the Secret Service and other Capitol Police officers, and still moved the protesters away from the White House. But about 60 Secret Service agents were injured during that particular insurrection. Oh, wait, we're not calling that one an insurrection. Oh, no. Trump was just crying in his boots. Crumpled up into a corner because there were protesters outside. Wait a minute, isn't this the same Trump who went out and stood out in front of the church with the Bible? They had moved people out of the way and stuff, whatever. Went right out and where the protesters are out there protesting as they moved him back. Yeah, I'm sure that he was hiding in an underground bunker. I think I replied to this. Yeah, I said the Secret Service moved the Trump family to the bunker during an attempted breach of the White House by protesters, including a guard shack set on fire. That's the Secret Service's job. That should be the expectation with any president. Stop comparing apples to lava lamps. Now people are just people are arguing, like I've got 20, 30 people reply to that. He was hiding. He was this. Yeah. Why did they move him when the Capitol insurrection? Well, because they weren't trying to breach the White House. They're breaching the Capitol. And it was just stupid. Plus, he wasn't in the White House during January 6th. But anyway, that was one of the more funny tweets I saw from Ed, but Ed had two of them out there. But this one too, Mario Nawfal, also breaking. President Biden has made a surprise visit to Kiev to join Ukraine, or to Kiev, Ukraine, to have a talk with President Zelensky, as Biden has announced $500 million of additional assistance to Ukraine. As this is ahead of the 1-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, with air raid sirens sounding off. And here's the sound here. Real quick, before I pull this up, thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for sponsor of the day, which makes you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, who says Biden's action, basically a proxy war, makes me wonder how much dirt on him is in Ukraine. He doesn't want Russia's hands on. It has never been proven or disproven he wasn't making bank in Ukraine with his son. Blackmail treasure trove. maybe that could be. I would not be shocked at all if there was some. Look, I mean, they won't tell us about the laptop. Although there's plenty of there's plenty on that too. But I don't know. This is all so stupid. Let's see. All right, is that all? That's all I got to say about that. Oh my God, what is going on? My notifications are just blowing up. What is going on here? What is going on? Secret Service. Okay, and here's an example of stupidity in my. Oh my God! You guys, these are propagandists. I'm not even gonna go. You could, if you want to go into my Twitter feed and see what these idiots are saying. You can. I'm gonna skip it. Okay, let's get on to something else Some big news over the weekend, and this is gonna be all in kind of a random order, just so you know. Don Lemon stepped into it last weekend. This was on. Now, granted, this was a week ago. Not even a week ago. It was last week when he was talking about Nikki Haley getting into the presidential race, right? And I'm sure you might have heard about this. He said something, no, remember, Don Lemon, a gay American, gay black American, Jussie Smollett, gay black American, and a feminist, I guess, I would expect, but definitely a liberal, right? And you wouldn't expect this type of faux pas from Don Lemon. But here's what Don Lemon said about Nikki Haley getting into the in the presidential race.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think that...
he said age, not AIDS. Because I can understand why that would make him uncomfortable too. But anyway, age. This whole talk about age. Nikki Haley's age. Hello, Damian Gershwin, by the way. Nice to see you. And Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian, and another favorite Canadian. Unacceptable views. All in the house. Welcome, guys. All right, here's Don Lemon talking. Again, he says age, as in how old you are.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think it's the wrong road to go down.
Why is that?
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime.
Whoa, wait a minute. Politicians not in their prime. Let's catch that. We got to make sure you pay attention.
Something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry.
He's saying Nikki Haley's not in her prime. Nikki Haley not in her prime. Sorry. Now, when you first hear him say that, you might say her political prime, like as in her prime would be strong enough to go up against a Trump or a DeSantis or, I don't know who else would be even in that category. Not in her prime. But does he mean her political prime? Does he mean her political prime? Let's listen a little more. Let's see where he goes with this. Not in her prime. Nikki Haley, not in her prime. Listen.
When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
Uh-oh. Now, you'd think he would catch himself here because he's saying a woman would be in her prime in her 20s, 30s, and 40s. Which I'm curious because most of the politicians that are women in politics are usually older than that. But let me see where he's going with this. 20s, 30s, 40s. And immediately the two women co-hosts both kind of raised some eyebrows, got that going. So here we go.
It's not according to me.
Prime for what?
That's what I'm wondering.
It's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say
prime for what? Baby making? House cleaning? Law school? Banana peeling? Prime for what, Don Lemon? She's running for president. Prime, what is her prime for a woman in the 20s, 30s, and 40s? I would think a prime for a woman to run for office would be when her kids are grown up. And if she has kids, if that's important to her, and when she has more time. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Don Lemon? But this is curious. And look. Everybody jumped on Don Lemon for this one. Here we go.
20s, 30s, and 40s.
20s
I don't
and
necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has.
See, now that she's like, oh, I got another decade. Prime for what? Nancy Pelosi's 80 years old. Of course, she's way beyond her prime. But anyway, maybe he's not a good point here. No, he doesn't have a good point because this is her political prime would be whenever she's most viable in politics, which I agree. This is not her political prime. She's not most viable in politics right now. She could be in 4 years. I don't think she's it now. And maybe not in 4 years. But what is he talking about?
Has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
You need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
No, Don.
The facts are, Google it, everybody at home.
Oh, Google
When is a
it.
woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about.
Like, men are in their prime in their 20s and 30s for sports, but they're certainly not in their prime for being a Viagra patient. They're not in their prime for, I don't know, any other stupid things. What is he talking about? Oh, my God. Don, what are you talking about, sir?
Saying that politicians are not in their prime, and they need to be in their
Prime for politics?
prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google?
Google or
Holy
whatever
shit.
it is.
Okay, so anyway, that was some dumb shit that Don Lemon said last week. Well, now the consequences are starting to roll in for Don Lemon. According to the Daily Beast, Don Lemon benched on Monday over sexist remark. Scandal. That's just the headline. I should probably put the story up, but I didn't do the archive of it. Here's what I'll do. Let me fix that. Maybe we'll come back to the Daily Beast. I didn't realize I didn't have the article up. This is the headline. Anyway, so he wasn't on the show on Monday. Now, what's interesting about that is I don't think he was off the show because of that remark. Apparently, he had a scheduled vacation Monday, which is what they always say when that shit happens. Okay, here's the archive version of it. I knew it'd show up here somewhere. Don Lemon benched on Monday over sexist remarks scandal. Insiders say, CNN. This is CNN. Sources told Confider that the network has changed its money lineup to proceed without Lemon while conversations about Don's future ongoing. Wasn't he he's already his primetime show already got axed. He got moved to the morning nonsense. And now he will not appear Monday on CNN this morning as his future on the show continues to be discussed at the highest levels within the network, according to two people familiar with the matter. Now, it's funny because Don can't get away with this on CNN. Like, who could get away with that statement? Let's come up with a list of people who talk on TV who could get away with that statement. I'm going to start. I think Howard Stern could get away with that statement, although he would never make it now because he's turned into a pussy. Piers Morgan could get away with that statement because Piers Morgan is an ass and everyone knows it, and so that's part of his brand and it gives him ratings. Anyone else you think of that could get away with that statement? You put those names in the chat and I'm going to keep going. So anyway, let's see. Sunday afternoon, a new on-air lineup schedule was sent out by CNN management that had the show being anchored by Harlow and Sarah Sidner in New York with Collins in Poland, according to two people familiar with the matter. So it's going to be an all-women show, at least on Monday. Well, then today on the Post Millennial reported, and I don't know if this is true, but he says Don Lemon removed from CNN morning show to start the week. Discussions about the anchor's future ongoing. So basically they're saying the same thing. Who wrote this crap? Who wrote this on for Post Millennial? It doesn't have a byline. It just has, the Post Millennial is the byline. So they're just parroting the points from the Daily Beast. But it's unclear if Don Lemon's going to be back after that one. I don't know how he can recover because this is CNN. Hello, Grant Sanford. Welcome to the show, and nice to see you on the in the chat there. Whoa! What? Wait, what does that mean? Oh! You're giving me names of people who could get away with that statement on television. Okay. So we got Tucker could but wouldn't say it. True. Jesse Kelly, though. Jesse Kelly could get away with that because that's kind of his brand, being kind of a dink. And not a dink, but just kind of mildly sexist, so to speak. And he certainly wouldn't be talking about her political prime. He would be talking about her, what kind of prime he'd be talking about. Oh, yeah. When he says her prime, you know exactly what he means. Yeah. Come on, baby. Okay, enough of that shit. Let's see. Tucker Carlson? Yeah, but like someone said it earlier, Tucker Carlson probably wouldn't say it. Other than he made a dumb equivalency, I am not sure why I would be upset about what he said. Oh, I'm not upset. I think it's hilarious that he said that. He certainly wasn't talking about her political prime, though. Wolf Blitzer? Nah. Well, could Wolf Blitzer survive that? I don't know. Slow Biden? Slow Biden could get away with it because everyone knows he really doesn't know what he's saying anyway. Adolf Hitler could. Okay. No. He's dead and couldn't get away with it. Jesse Lee Peterson? They would never let him on CNN. Hard Bastard absolutely could get away with it. Limbaugh, dead. He ain't saying much. True. Greg Gutfield. Yes, Greg Gutfield could, but one thing about Gutfield is he has all those people around him that could also make fun of him after he said it. So that's cool. Frank Sinatra would not only say it, but he would be applauded for it. Well, he also says that lady is a tramp. Anyway, all right, so those are some good answers. All right, let's move on. Next, what else do I got here? Oh, now this is something that people are sharing on Twitter a lot. I pulled out, February 2. Yeah, something that came up Saturday. So remember that the World Health Organization was trying to get all these nations on board. Hello, 69 Otters. How you doing? Joy Reid and her Q-tip. Yeah, see, Joy Reid can get away with it because she can say whatever she wants, and then she could just walk it back and say, y'all didn't understand what I mean because I'm black and shit. And she can say that shit. Anyway, the Biden administration has I'm sorry, I kind of went oh wait, primetime grifter told the year, Alex Stein. Yes, Alex Stein absolutely could get away with that, but he would have to say it on he'd have to say it on Tucker's show, or he'd have to say it on someone else's show, because that's just one of those things. Still Garfield. I just see that. All right, so what am I doing here? Here we go. Okay, here's my next story that I was trying to get to, and I've kind of lost my train of thought. Biden administration has negotiated. Oh wait, by the way, I want you to close your eyes and savor the thought of this. Okay, everyone close your eyes. Yep, and I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm saying here, because this is amazing, an amazing development in the world, and so on and so forth. Thank you, Stabbing Joe Scarborough, by the way, dropping a 5 in the tip jar, saying, I knew a girl in her prime once. So did I. I did. I did know. Anyway, okay, so thank you very much for sponsoring the show, by the way. I appreciate you. All right, can I get into the damn story that I was about to start? Here we go. Biden administration negotiates a deal to give the WHO authority over the U.S. pandemic policies. Oh, yay. We are so excited for this one. New international health accord avoids necessary Senate approval. Wow. I wonder if this is constitutional. Thank you again, Stabbing Joe Scarborough, by the way. By the way, Stabbing Joe Scarborough, it is such a pleasure to have you drop in. I know you come in once in a while, and it's nice to just see you in the chat again. So thank you for being here. New international health accord avoids necessary Senate approval. Now, I wonder how the hell that happened. The Biden administration is preparing to sign up the United States to a legally binding accord with, legally binding in square quotes, with the World Health Organization that would give this Geneva-based UN subsidiary the authority to dictate America's policies during a pandemic. Oh, we're going to give up our sovereignty to an unelected body of people that think they know everything, and they've been wrong on so many things. Despite widespread criticism of the WHO response to the stupid 19 pandemic, U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra joined with WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus in September 2022 to announce, quote, the U.S. WHO Strategic Dialogue. Together, they developed a platform to maximize the long-standing U.S. WHO partnership and to protect and promote the health of all people around the globe, including the American people. So, when they say the word globalism, think this. These discussions and others spawned the Zero Draft PDF. Oh, they have a draft of it. I gotta see this. We're gonna open that one up. Of the Pandemic Treaty published on February 1st, which now seeks ratification by all 194 WHO member states. A meeting of the WHO's intergovernmental negotiating body is scheduled for February 27th to work out the final terms, which all members will then sign. Now, okay, I'm just curious. This would be what is known as a treaty, right? I thought the United States treaties had to be approved by our. Well, is it just the Senate, or does it have to be approved by everybody, both the House and the Senate? I don't know. I thought all treaties had to be approved by Congress. Hello, Linda Hunter. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. They do just such a good job of absolving governments from any accountability. Oh, spot on. You are spot on, Linda, and I'm glad you're here. So let's see. Written under the banner of, quote, the world together equitably. Oh, there's that word, end quote. That word, equity. What do you do when you hear the word equity? Class, type in the chat. Actually, I'm going to beat you to it. When you hear the word equity, run. Where was it? Under the banner of the world together equitably, the Zero Draft grants the WHO the power to declare and manage a global pandemic emergency. Once a health emergency is declared, all signatories, including the United States, would submit to the authority of the WHO regarding treatments, governmental regulations such as lockdowns and vaccine mandates, global supply chains, and monitoring and surveillance of populations. Get the fuck out of here. You got to be kidding me. They, quote, they want to see a centralized vaccine and medication-based response and a very restrictive response in terms of controlling populations. David Bell, a public health physician and former WHO staffer specializing in epidemic policy, told the Epoch Times they get to decide what is a health emergency, and they are putting in place a surveillance mechanism that will ensure that there are potential emergencies to declare. The WHO Pandemic Treaty is part of a two-track effort coinciding with an initiative by the World Health Assembly to create a new global pandemic regulations that would supersede the laws of member states. The WHA is the rulemaking body of the WHO, comprised of representatives from the member states. Both initiatives are fatally dangerous. Francis Boyle, professor of international law at Illinois University, told the Epoch Times either one or both would set up a worldwide medical police state under the control of the WHO, and in particular, WHO Director General Tedros. If either one or both of these go through, Tedros or a successor would be able to issue orders that will go all the way down the pipe to your primary care physicians. Holy shit. I think this would be completely, it sounds like it would be completely unconstitutional. I'm sorry. There's no world government body that is in charge of us or Canada or Venezuela or Brazil or Indonesia. Sorry, you do not get to dictate to sovereign governments what they do. But they're going to try it. And Biden, of course, dumbass, is going to sign it. I think it's null and void. I don't think there's no. Hell to the no, to the no. The key question surrounding the accord is whether the Biden administration can bind America to treaties and agreements without the consent of the U.S. Senate, which is required under the Constitution. The zero draft concedes that, per international law, treaties between countries must be ratified by national legislatures, thus representing the right of their citizens to consent. However, the draft also includes a clause that the accord will go into effect on a provisional basis as soon as it is signed by the delegates to the WHO, and therefore it will be legally binding on members without being ratified by legislatures. All I can say is good luck to that. Sorry, good luck to that. If you don't have a sycophant president in office or whatever, that ain't happening. And I'm pretty sure there would be boy, oh boy, let him try that shit. I'm sorry. Whoever drafted this clause knew as much about U.S. constitutional law and international law as I did, and deliberately drafted it to circumvent the power of the Senate to give its advice and consent to treaties, to provisionally bring it into force immediately upon signature, Boyle said. In addition, the Biden administration will take the position that this is an international executive agreement that the president can conclude of his own accord without approval by Congress, and is binding on the United States of America, including all state and local democratically elected officials, governors, attorneys generals, and health officials. I don't think so. But here's the problem, though. We have a Senate right now that might just rubber stamp it with 51 votes. Although I don't know if treaties require 3/4 votes or more, 2/3 or something. I don't know. Anyone know that off the top of their head? This is crazy. There are several U.S. Supreme Court decisions that may support the Biden administration on this. They include State of Missouri versus Holland, in which the Supreme Court ruled that treaties supersede state laws. But this is not a properly ratified treaty according to the Constitution. Who brought this up? Other decisions, such as United States versus Belmont, ruled that executive agreements without state Senate consent can be legally binding with the force of the treaties. Oh my God. Because this is where they were talking about requiring vaccine passports to travel around the world, anywhere in the world, and administered by the WHO. GFY? Anybody? GFY? Okay, so anyway, you can read the rest of that. That's pretty damn scary. That's a scary thought. Next. Oh, by the way, if you want to see the zero draft, how long is this draft? Here it is. If you want to see it, it'll be in the links. By the way, if you're new here or haven't been around lately and forgot what I do on this show, at the end of the show, I update the description both on Rumble and on YouTube to include a link which will take you to one page with every article, tweet, video, whatever I do during the show will all be on a single page in a one-tab link in the second paragraph. So if you want to find this stuff, it'll be easy to find. How long it's a 32-page, they call it the zero draft, so basically as opposed to a first draft. I'm sorry. This is unfortunately you can't on this. Oh, wow, that's weird. It's an archived draft, but that doesn't help you because you can't read the archived draft. So I don't know if they have, doesn't look like they have a place where you can go to the actual draft. What's this about the Great Barrington Declaration down here? The official narrative during the COVID-19 pandemic includes support for lockdowns, school closures, and masking, all of which have since proven to be ineffective in stopping the spread of the virus and damaging to public health. A group more than 900,000 doctors, epidemiologists, and public health scientists jointly signed the Great Barrington Declaration in 2020, expressing grave concerns about the damaging and physical and mental impacts of the prevailing COVID-19 policies. This declaration was widely decried as dangerous misinformation and was censored on social media. So, yeah, look. You think the issues that our own government and CDC and NIH had problems, or the problems they had with the stupid 19 pandemic and all the things that, have changed and different responses were different, and different medicines didn't work and did work, and the vaccines were 100% effective, will 100% protect you from stupid 19, and then they wouldn't. All the different information you got. Imagine even a more centralized government body, so to speak, takes over all sovereign nations in the dealing with a new pandemic that also could possibly get things wrong, like they did, like they changed their minds so many times. If you watched the CDC, if you watched everything they were doing, the WHO changed their minds on a lot of things and learned things. So I don't want a overlord government body. I just want to go to my local doctor and let him say what he's going to say. And if his advice is wrong and I die, then I die. But I don't want the WHO taking over sovereign nations. Like, look, because they're talking about how the WHO would be able to override nations' laws and cause nations to lock down. Well, what if they found some weird disease in, say, Huntington, Texas, okay? Just some weird disease and a small little thing. The WHO comes in and says, oh, no, this might spread. This could be a new pandemic. We're going to shut down the entire southwest of the United States until we're sure what this is, because we have that power under this new treaty that was signed by the president of the United States at the time, Joseph Rahim Biden. Would we really allow the WHO to have that power? Yeah. Not feeling it. Anybody feeling that one? So anyway, let's see. I wonder if here, maybe I can do it this way. I bet I can find, let's see if we can get this document. Aha. Looks like it. Hang on. There it is. All right. So this document will be in the tab that I copy, whatever. So here's the zero draft, 32 pages long. It'll be in the links. So I found the non-archive version. All right, shall we move on? Because I got to keep the show moving. By the way, thank you. Horatio Nelson is in the house. Thank you for being here, sir. And thank you for sponsoring the show. Dropping a deuce in the tip jar, who says, 5 hours ago, Biden arrived in Kiev on an unannounced visit, and while announcing he is handing over another $500 million in bombs and bullion, air raid sirens began going off. Biden nearly fell asleep speaking, Biden hinting we are going to give ICBMs to, oh my God. Did he? Did he fell asleep while speaking? I got to see the speech. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's check to see if it's on the White House YouTube page. Give me a second here. Let's go to the White House YouTube page. Na. It's the White House YouTube page. White House. Right here. Let's see. This is White House. Nope. State of the Union. Live. Let's try this. Live remarks. Nope. He didn't. It wasn't on the White House page. Well, we'll find it later eventually and see what Joseph Rahim Biden said. All right. Next, we got, it should be right here. Oh, now, like I said, this is going to be in random order. Has no real order. But so South Park is in the news. South Park is in the news because they did a little, what's the word? Oh, you can link me. Yeah. Drop a link in the chat. I'll cut and paste it and we'll put it in. Maybe we'll get to it at the end. Horatio. That'd be awesome. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are upset with the writers at South Park because they pretty much got savaged on the show. Now, I'm not going to show you the clip. He said ICBMs. Was it ICBMs? I know he's talking about long-range missiles, which I suppose could be. Oh, CBMs, not ICBMs. I'm sorry. I was going to say, why would he be getting them ICBMs? Anyway, so intracontinental missiles. Yes, yeah, they're trying to give longer range missiles. So because the Russian troops that have fallen back from the front line, they want to be able to hit targets farther away. But see, if they give them those kind of missiles, they can still reach. They can still reach targets deep within Russia, and so that's what their reluctance to giving them those types of missiles are. All right, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are upset with South Park, and their lawyers are looking into South Park after the Sussexes. Those ain't real, dude. How you doing? Nice to meet you. There's a whole bunch of new people in here. I am very happy. Who, by the way, if you're new here, now, Ratio, I know where you came from. You came from HB. But Linda Hunter and someone else that I don't know the name as well was here earlier. Can't find the name. Grant Sanford and those ain't real, dude. Tell me how you found me. I'm asking people to invite someone and then tell me who invited them, or if you saw me somewhere else, I appreciate it. But just let me know what's going on. Meghan Markle's not happy. And Prince Harry's not happy with South Park because South Park did a spoof on them that was pretty freaking hilarious. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's lawyers are casting an eye over South Park's latest series after the show launched a number of attacks on the couple. South Park has taken multiple shots at Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, mocking their claims they want privacy despite signing lucrative deals with Netflix and Spotify to publish content about their lives. Yes, they want privacy. They want privacy. And they put up a sign like, we want privacy. We want privacy. Okay, this is just for my 1000th show, but if it said we want privacy, that's the South Park spoof on them. They go on a talk show with signs going, we want privacy. We want privacy. As they go onto a talk show and they have a big show on Netflix and they chronicle their side of the story and so on and so forth. So, from Hard Bastard. Nice. Good. That's awesome. And Linda is a scrub queen. What the hell does that mean? What is a scrub queen? I don't know what that is. Anyway, so Prince Harry's autobiography, Spare, has been ridiculed, with South Park referring it to wah. The series also branded the couple dumb and stupid. Royal commentator Neil Sean has stated the couple's legal team is now watching the series closely for more attacks. Now, here's the funny part about that. Now, not so much for Meghan Markle, but for Prince Harry. Here's my message to Prince Harry regarding South Park ridiculing you and your lovely bride. And she's a lovely gal. I think she's attractive. I mean, I didn't know she was black until she got married because I didn't know, I saw her on Suits and shit, and she didn't look all that black to me. But she's black. She's a black woman now, and I know it, and that's beyond the point. But here's my message to Prince Harry and your legal team about South Park spoofing you. You ready? Here's my advice to Prince Harry. Get over it, bitch. Because that's how it works over here. We're going to make fun of your stupid ass, and that's how it goes. Sorry, it's really hard to slander or libel against someone who's such a high profile public figure. Get over it, bitch. Anyway, if you want to read the rest of the article, they're whining and moaning. And I had copies of the clip. Where's the clip? Here, let me see if I can find it. South Park. Here's South Park. South Park, Prince Harry. South Park. South Park, Harry and Meghan. Here we go. I'm not going to play them because they're, I'll just put the links to them in the chat. It is hilarious, actually. But again, the copyright shit that they do on YouTube, I'm just not going to do it. But I'll give you one link to it, and it's let's see. This is Jack Prosobiak, who says South Park just destroyed Harry and Meghan. And that's what the clip's going to look like. Good Morning Canada. See, when the Queen died, Good Morning Canada. You could see the guy there, because they always make the Canadian with these kind of broken heads that pop, 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 pop. So it's kind of like Jaeger Pony. This is how Jaeger Pony looks. This is like, and there you go. We want our privacy. Stop looking at us. So that's the funniest part of it. But then the whole interview is just them doing stupid shit. So it's funny, and you can watch that clip for yourself and make your own judgment. All right, now This is weird because this is in Conservative Brief, which is a really annoying website because they have so many freaking pop-ups. But thanks to my Brave browser, I don't get them on here. But they are they're featuring this California Democrat arrested and charged with suspicion of election fraud. And I was expecting a really good article on someone, who's out there illegally ballot harvesting and, like Wisconsin or Pennsylvania where it's not legal and stuff. But no, this is some shit in California, some city council member who, California Democratic city council member has been arrested and charged with allegedly engaging in election fraud, according to a local report. Sakir Khan, a member of the Lodi City Council, was arrested last week after already facing additional criminal charges. According to the CBS Sacramento, the outlet said that Khan resigned from his post on Friday, then claimed that his reputation was coerced, resignation was coerced. The new fraud charges are reportedly related to the 2020 election. Look, this is just him. What is it? He's been charged with multiple offenses related to voter fraud. These charges included causing, procuring, or allowing false voter registration of himself or another person, submitting fraudulent voter registration to the Secretary of State, blah, blah, blah. Look, here's the thing. I saw this and I thought, oh, this is going to be a big deal. I'm going to talk about it because it's something that really big that happened. No, this is just some local election guy who probably illegally voted because he's not a citizen, some shit like that. And it's really kind of a throwaway article. And so sometimes when you see these things, be careful. Read it carefully and make sure, because you can't go, oh, see, Democrats are doing election fraud. And then you get an article like this where it's one guy who did some stupid shit and it's not a big deal. We'll look for bigger deals. They're out there somewhere, and we will definitely find them. Good morning, Furry Kitten, or good afternoon, Furry Kitten. Isn't it afternoon where you live? Just about. Yeah, it's afternoon where you live. Hi, Furry Kitten. What's up? All right, let's move on. Also, here's another one that's being thrown around, and I saw this and I'm like, oh, is there a new one? So there's this, and it's been just been on fire on Twitter. Kavanaugh rape, and it's from just a couple of days. It was trending all weekend. Kavanaugh rape accuser confesses she lied, was never raped, never even met the man. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Are they talking about Blasey Ford? Are they talking about, which one are they talking about? Because we know the one had already done, they said she was lying. And then the other one, her story never made any sense. And then, so the only one left is Blasey Ford, whose story never made any sense. And I was thinking, oh, did someone else confess to lying? No. Okay, you're going to see this article running around, and it's nothing new. We knew about this. Because the mainstream media was not very interested in the story for obvious reasons, it is likely that you did not see this when it broke. No, I did. I talked about this. I talked about this when it happened. 3, 4, what was it, 4 years ago? Almost 5 years ago. I talked about this. But wait, not 5 years ago. When was this? 2018. I wasn't even on. Did I even have this show going on then? Anyway, here's the deal. This is a letter from Senator Chuck Grassley. In 2018, they already knew that this woman lied. And in fact, they had a criminal referral for her because she admitted she lied, writing about Judy Monroe Layton. He was writing for the investigation of potential violations of USC 1001, material false statements, and 1505, obstruction for materially false statements she made to the committee during the course of the committee's investigation. By itself, Monroe Layton's admission that she lied about Judge Kavanaugh is despicable, but when taken in context of the way the Democrats orchestrated their resistance to Judge Kavanaugh throughout his entire confirmation process, should be disqualifying for high office. So anyway, this is something that's old, but for some reason it started trending again this weekend. We all knew that a couple of these women lied. Not just lied, they proven liars. One admitted it, and the other one admitted she never knew Kavanaugh. She never saw what she said she saw. The other one left is Blasey Ford, who had the most improbable story out there. So sometimes when you see this kind of stuff, just be wary of what you're reading. Don't go, oh, I'm going to retweet this just because it fits what I think, when we already do this shit. So just thought. Lodi is pronounced Lodi. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. What's up, Hey Campbell? Nice to see you. Another one of the original viewers of the Morning Night Live. Welcome back. And also, good morning, Select the Boy.
Yeah, boy.
So anyway, so those are two stories that are really getting a lot of traction that really don't mean diddly right now, even though they did mean diddly when they happened or whatever. But one was just a local story, and one is one that we already knew. We already talked about it. Now, I saw this. This is something that the NEA, the National Education Association put out. And I was just curious. I didn't read it, but I was just curious because it said, teach truth and know your rights. Now, I found this is fascinating because, with all the stuff going on in the schools and, people mad at Ron DeSantis and all these different places around the country that are, are deciding school curricula, right? They're making school curriculum decisions that don't necessarily jibe with what some people think should be school curriculum, right? And so, which is interesting because school boards and states, or however, depending on what state you're in, either the school board or the state can determine school curriculum. And teachers are supposed to stay within the curriculum as much as they can, blah, blah, blah. So this little legal and employment guidance from the National Education Association I found fascinating. Want to know about your rights and protections regarding censorship and teaching about racism, sexism, and historical prejudice, sometimes incorrectly called critical race theory. Interesting. So I've just thought this. Now they go through this whole thing. What states are censoring educators and trying to stifle inclusive education practices? We'll just go through one of these. So here's what they do. While growing evidence that culturally responsive and racially inclusive education practices enrich the education experiences of all students and prepare students to thrive in our multiracial democracy, many states have moved to incorporate such practices into school curriculums. But politicians in 15 states have reacted by adopting measures, either state laws or state board education rules or similar measures, that seek to limit how topics like racism and sexism can be taught in schools. Oh, is that what they're doing? Interesting. That's an interesting way to put it. 6 of these states, Florida, Iowa, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, South Dakota, and Tennessee, adopted similar restrictions for higher education and or restrict diversity and inclusion training for public employees, including educators. See, diversity and inclusion training is essential to get enough diversity to include you. In addition, 2 states, Alabama and Florida, have adopted measures this year that purport to bar instruction related to LGBTQ issues in schools at the elementary school level and prohibit any such instruction that a state agency deems not age appropriate in higher grades. Now, because, I think it's very important that we teach things that are age inappropriate to the youngest kids possible. Because, kindergartners need to know which hole to put that thing in, right? Is that I'm just interpreting here. These laws track similar to anti-LGBTQ measures adopted by a number of states in the 1980s and 1990s, which remain in place in 4 states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, and Texas. These efforts to chill instruction on racism and sexism and stoke discrimination against LGBTQ students and staff are also evident in newly politicized efforts to ban books from school curriculums. Yes, this is the books that have cartoon porn in them. Yes, they are trying to ban the books that have cartoon porn in them and teach people and teaching young kids which hole to put that thing in. Anyway, which they have very little restrictions on which hole that you put that thing in those books, because they even show kids getting bullshit. Anyway, going a little too far there. It has long been the case that local school districts have processes to review and decide on the books that will be used in schools, but this past year has brought scores of legislative proposals to formalize these processes in state laws and to permit books to be pulled from school libraries and school curriculum based on a single complaint. Really? Is that true? Or they have to have a review of certain type of materials? I don't know. I guess I'm not 100% sure, so I can't be an expert on it, but it sounds interesting. Hi, Next Gen Troll, nice to see you. I see you over there. Only 2 states to date, Florida and Georgia, have adopted such state laws because the books that are most often banned through these politicized processes are ones that feature BIPOC, which is Black and Indigenous people of color, and or LGBTQIA plus ABCDD, EFG individuals. These book banning efforts raise similar concerns as other censorship measures. And then they go, oh my gosh, they go into this whole thing and how these laws work. Look, I'm pretty sure that most school districts have a curriculum that they want their teachers to teach. And let's see, I want to go, what should I do if my state prohibits instructing students honestly and I'm disciplined for continuing that instruction? Let's see. Let's go into this. We'll read this one. Your local and state affiliate can defend you through the NEA, Uniserve, and Unified Legal Services Program. So we're going to provide you lawyers. NEA is strongly committed to ensuring that teachers who teach the truth. That's an interesting way to put it. Teachers that teach the truth. Aren't teachers hired to teach the curriculum that's supposed to be taught? And what is the truth sometimes? Sometimes the truth is just that teacher's opinion. Just saying, their truth is, okay, so if a teacher's truth is that you must go vote for this candidate because they're the best candidate and that's the truth. Is that the teacher's job? Is that part of the curriculum? And so I'm just curious. Oh, it's the wee hour, so back to sleep for me. Okay, thank you, Linda. Nice to have you drop in. I appreciate you. The outcome of that. Okay, so the NEA is strongly committed to ensuring that teachers who teach the truth and do so with the support of their state and local affiliates are defended in any and all such matters. The outcome of any particular case will depend on its circumstances, including exactly what was taught, whether it actually violated the law, whether that law has been enforced fairly, tenure status, and employment record, and the penalties sought. You should understand that your speech at work as a K-12 educator is not protected by the First Amendment. Although tenure and other similar protections under a collective bargaining agreement may protect you from arbitrary and unfair discipline. If you are a professor, you may have both First Amendment protections and collectively bargain protections for the instructional choices you make in your classes. So at least they acknowledge that teachers are not there to use their First Amendment. They're there to teach what is in your curriculum. So that's good to know that they at least recognize that. Stan Ulch, nice to see you. They should teach the process, not their opinion on a result. Yeah, I got to say that you're right. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Okay, I understand that colorful language is often used on my fellow friends' shows. I tend to mildly censor things here at the Morning Night Live just because, just because. Unwiped asshole nigga. I'm black. I can say that, YouTube. Thank you. Thank you for dropping a deuce in the tip jar. I appreciate that very much, by the way. Why isn't that clapping? Come on, give him one. Give him a hand. You were all stunned by that name. Walking around, stomping my boots, making some sound, pounding my roots. See a tranny on the corner, scream about the drag queens. Take a shit in my hand. Know what I mean? Walk up to that commie, shove it in their face, and rub it around all over the place. It's unwiped. Okay. Well, we tend to be wiped around here. I'm just saying, okay? And how did you, whoever that is, how did you get here? Who invited? Obviously, you came here from the HB show. Thank you for being here. 69 Otters, wiped. Amen. Okay, welcome, 69 Otters. Also, hello, Chosen One. $2 made me laugh hard enough to choke in my coffee. Yes, that is very hard bastard-esque. That would be something you'd put on the Bastard Show. But you know what? I welcome you, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you for contributing to this beautiful thing that we have called the Morning Night Live. Papa Hotep's in the house. Nice to see you. All right. Yes, that's definitely something you heard on How Best. Anyway, the NEA is trying to tell teachers how they can minimize their liability in teaching shit they're not supposed to teach on their curriculum, and so on and so forth. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so like I said, these are in random order, and I'm running out of time. Rachel Levine. They've unearthed some emails from Rachel Levine. Rachel Levine, formerly known as Richard, the Health and Human Services Undersecretary, who got a public Senate confirmation, even though I've never seen an undersecretary get that type of pomp and circumstance. Rachel Levine, wrong thing there, they found some emails discussing how medical providers had potential revenue from child sex change procedures. Good God. The Assistant Secretary for Health, Rachel Levine, discussed revenue opportunities resulting from hiring gender clinic social workers while Levine was serving as Pennsylvania's acting Secretary of Health, according to the emails obtained by a parental rights activist, Megan Brock, and reviewed by the Daily Caller News Foundation. So let's see. Discuss revenue, and it was discussing that with a pediatrician, Dr. Roland Ornstein, a pediatrician at Penn State Hershey's Children's Hospital, believed a social worker for the hospital's gender clinic would generate enough revenue to make funding the position worthwhile, noting that even with age restrictions for sex change surgeries, child patients would eventually turn 18 and be eligible for further interventions, according to emails from in 2018 between Rollin and Dr. Rachel Levine, obtained by parental rights activist Megan Brock and reviewed by the Daily Caller. Social workers at pediatric gender clinics can work as surgery advocates, gathering letters of recommendation on behalf of minors seeking sex change procedures that insurance companies are otherwise hesitant to cover, according to a 2021 report from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, CHOP, that's an appropriate name, and for, the National Association of Social Workers. Levine recommended a contact for Ornstein to reach out to and said that while surgical referrals might be limited only to mastectomies for minors, I thought they didn't do that, the position would still pay for itself. As I am trying to convince the administration about the need for MSW, Masters in Social Work, position specific for the imminent gender clinic, I am trying to put together a presentation meaning potential revenue, including downstream, Ornstein wrote. The info from the 2015 report is great, but I believe insurance has changed since then with more coverage for surgery than previously. Now, Levine, who at the time was Pennsylvania's acting Secretary of Health, was confident that the hospital would be able to fund a social worker in this position, but noted that age restriction for gender surgeries meant the social worker's consultation for minors would be limited to FTM, male, female to male, top surgeries, a euphemism for mastectomies. Mastectomies are more commonly performed on minors than other gender-related procedures. Quote, you should be able to fund an MSW for evaluation and therapy for pediatrics and adolescent patients in a program such as you do for the ED programs, and is done at CHOP, Levine wrote. Pre-surgical consult for patients under 18 will most likely be limited to FTM top surgery, and that might be a rather limited group of patients. So then Ornstein noted that if children were limited in which gender transition surgeries they could get as a minor, those children would eventually turn 18, making the social workers' efforts more financially rewarding. So they're concerning about the return on investment. I'm trying to give them some numbers to help them realize the eventual return on investment for this necessary position, Ornstein said in another email. Even if the patients under 18 who go for surgery might be limited, the patients we start with will eventually be over 18. Hey, then we can make some real money. So I think it's worthwhile. Of course, I think it's worthwhile no matter what. Social workers are responsible for advocating for transgender people in a variety of ways, including pressuring insurance companies to cover cross-sex medical interventions, including surgeries, according to the National Association of Social Workers. Financial motives appear to play a major role in advocacy for cross-sex medical procedures. Johns Hopkins Medicine is lobbying Maryland to extend Medicaid to cover coverage to transgender cosmetic procedures it offers, which could financially benefit the university hospital system. Professional Association of Plastic Surgeons has been fighting against state attempts to restrict child sex changes and pushing for enhanced insurance coverage of transgender procedures since at least 2017. So, good God. Good God. Look, this is not the first time we've heard of people extolling the financial benefits of doing procedures and also putting and medicalizing kids. They need to stop. I mean, oh my God. I'm speechless. Groomer's going to groom. Yeah, Stan, I tell you. Law for groomers to be able to groom. Groomer's going to groom. Emperor's New Clothes already taught us the moral of this story. Save the booba. I say let them mutilate kids. The only real solution to this is to let them see the hell it creates in a few years when what they want comes to fruition. Yeah, the incredible mental health crisis that's going to go along with this. That's what I'm saying. All right. Breaking news also this weekend. Speaker McCarthy rumored to considering not releasing the January 6th footage. So a lot of people were putting pressure on Nancy Pelosi to release a lot of the 40,000 hours of video, I guess, that they have from different cameras and angles for January 6th. Well, Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy might be ready to revert to form and let down the conservative base to appease swamp creatures and deep state hacks. How so? By not releasing the January 6th tapes as promised. The story comes from investigative journalist Laura Loomer. Give me a whole salt lick of salt block. Salt lick. What do I say? Not a grain of salt, the entire salt lick when it's Laura Loomer, but you never know. Sometimes she gets things and sometimes she don't. She said, I've been told Speaker McCarthy isn't planning to release all of the J6 footage like he promised. He told members of Congress that it's a national security risk to release the raw footage. J6 defendants who want it have to ask their rep to issue a written request on their behalf. Twitter personality Chuck Callisto then amplified the story on Twitter, saying, breaking report, rumors now swirling the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy will not release all the January 6th footage as promised when elected Speaker, claims it would risk national security. Look, there probably is a legitimate claim that some angles of January 6th footage could be have a national security issue to it, but I'm going to guess that it's not very much. What exactly of the footage could they release that isn't open to the public on normal days or isn't available on normal days at the Capitol? I'm sorry. Release the footage, dickheads. I'm not even going to read the rest of this. I'm not going to read the rest of it. FTG, all those guys. Next, Stacey Abrams is in trouble. Not only will she never be governor of Georgia, apparently $500,000 has gone missing from a charity. According to a not-so-shocking report in the Washington Free Beacon, twice-failed Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams could be in major trouble for unreported income. The basis for that claim is that tax documents filed by the New Georgia Project, a charity linked to her, show $500,000 is missing. That massive financial discrepancy could, from the Washington Free Beacon reports, lead to both state and federal elections. What? Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. Let's just say it'll cause her problems. The report notes that the charity claims to have paid more than $500,000 in consulting fees to another woke nonprofit, the Blackmail Initiative. The Blackmail Initiative, however, claims to have never received that payment. So $533,846 is missing. The New Georgia Project filed its 2021 Form 990 financial disclosure in January, 2 months after the form was due to the IRS and 3 months after the charity board chairman fired CEO Nisei Ufat, Abrams' hand-picked leader of the group. In the disclosure, the New Georgia Project reports a $533,846 consulting payment and a $67,500 grant to the Blackmail Initiative, an obscure charity run in part by Ufat's brother. That's perfect. Ufat's brother, Edema, a former New Georgia Project employee. But the Blackmail Initiative says it never received any such consulting payment. The group provided the Washington Free Beacon with its IRS financial disclosure, which shows it collected $0 in consulting income and just $255,000 in contributions from all sources in 2021. Nonprofit attorney Alan Dye, commenting on the matter to the Washington Free Beacon, said, "This is something that the Internal Revenue Service should be interested in, particularly with the added element of the former officer possibly pocketing the money." Shocker. And then added, "Something's rotten in the state of Denmark." So now I'm not sure. I don't know how they've tied this directly to Stacey Abrams. Oh, it's her. What is it? Her campaign said they did this. The New Georgia. Okay, so that's a charity or something tied to Stacey Abrams. Oh, charity linked to her. So I don't know. Okay, is it Stacey Abrams going to be in trouble, or is it just this particular charity? And is it Ufat who was giving money to his brother's charity that's in trouble? It's not quite clear if this is directly a headache for Stacey Abrams, but it's definitely a headache for Ufat and perhaps his brother Edema. And who knows if it's really connected to Stacey Abrams. But it's interesting, and it's related. So the headline, look, Stacey Abrams in the headline is a lot more, oh my God, I almost said the Stacey Abrams in the headline is a lot more sexy, but that would never happen. Oh God. No, that's not what I was going to say. Just it's more, let's say it's more headline grabbing. So here's the Washington Free Beacon article. And it's pretty much the same article. So if you want to read it, they're both there. Moving on, Pete Buttigieg. Oh, and then finally, I want to get into this. This is the last part that I'm going to do today. A lot of hubbub over the weekend about Pete Buttigieg. What the hell? I read this article last week how Pete Buttigieg was blaming Trump for the Ohio train derailment. Okay, talking about how we're constrained, blah blah blah, this and that. And boy, people were talking this up like crazy over the weekend, and there's a lot of people on the left that keep bringing up the idea that, yeah, see, Donald Trump, he deregulated the trains and the electronic braking system, and said that, because he did that this train crashed, it's his fault. And so then you get articles like this one in Newsweek: is Donald Trump to blame for the Ohio train derailment? Okay, now we're going to go through this article, then I'm going to give you the real answer. But it's interesting because this article, you take this article, The Hill, environmental group calls on Buttigieg to restore the Obama-era train brake rule. Okay, you get another one. Is this one it? No, that's the law itself. Again, you get another one here. Yes, a train safety rule was repealed in 2018. Oh my God. Did Trump cause this by repealing a train brake law? Okay, here's the thing. So then you read through this. The derailment of a 150-car train carrying hazardous material in East Palestine, Ohio, was likely more severe. Wait a minute. It was likely more severe because the Trump administration repealed a key safety rule, according to an industry insider. Keep that in mind. On February 3rd, the Norfolk Southern Railway freight train derailed at approximately 8:55 p.m., blah, 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 catching fire and everything and so on. Now, I'm going to skip down because this just tells you about the story. Speaking to an investigative news outlet, The Lever, Steve Dittmeyer, a former top official at the Federal Railroad Administration, said the severity of the accident was likely increased by the lack of electronically controlled pneumatic brakes. A rule passed under President Barack Obama that made it a requirement for trains carrying hazardous flammable materials have ECP brakes, electronically controlled pneumatic brakes, but this was rescinded by the Trump administration. The industry said it would cost more than $3 billion to implement. The FRA under Obama said it would be around $500 million. Oh, who's right and who's wrong? The Transportation Safety Board, a federal agency responsible for the investigating rail accidents, told the lever that the Ohio train that derailed was not fitted with ECP brakes. Would ECP brakes have reduced the severity of this accident? Yes, Dittmeyer said. Now, referring to the opposition from within the rail industry fitting ECP brakes, he added, the railroads will test new features, but once they are told they have to do it, they don't want to spend the money. Now, this is amazing. This is an amazing article for a couple reasons. So first of all, again in the Hill, environmental groups call on Buttigieg to restore Obama-era train brake rule. Yes, that headline says, oh my gosh, that the train brake rule that Trump repealed would have saved this train. Then you got this one. Yes, a train safety rule was repealed in 2018. Now, what's interesting about this article, though, they're answering the question, yes, a train safety rule was repealed in 2018. Let's go through this entire article, and let me see if you hear the key paragraph here. There's a key paragraph in this article that should help explain something about this article and this article. Let's read this one, though. Let's read this. Yes, a train safety rule was repealed in 2018. That awful Donald Trump. On February 3rd, nearly 50 train cars, including some carrying hazardous material, derailed in a fiery crash in Palestine, Ohio. Following the crash, officials conducted a controlled burn of some of the train cars to prevent a potential explosion of toxic chemicals called vinyl chloride that was on board. Thousands of residents had to temporarily evacuate because of health concerns related to the fumes. The cause of the derailment has not yet been determined. This was just a couple days ago. It has not been determined. Wait a minute. That's not even the key sentence. Is Donald Trump to blame for the Ohio train derailment? Not been determined, and an investigation is ongoing. Over a week after the crash, U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg posted a Twitter thread on the work the Department of Transportation is currently doing to make trains safer. In one of the tweets, Buttigieg claimed one rail safety regulation involving brakes was withdrawn by the Trump administration in 2018 because of a law passed by Congress in 2015. Several others on Twitter shared similar claims. So Verify viewer Martha recently emailed our team to ask if these claims are true. So the question, did the Department of Transportation repeal the train safety rule in 2018? Well, yes, that particular rule was withdrawn by the Department of Transportation in 2018. Okay, the answer is true. Yes, they did repeal the train safety rule. Now, what we found, now here comes the key paragraph. Here it comes. The Department of Transportation repealed the train safety rule in 2018 that required installing electronically controlled pneumatic brakes, ECPs, on trains that carried highly flammable hazardous materials, including crude oil. Most of the world's trains are equipped with air braking systems that use compressed air to stop each train car individually. ECP brakes, which use electronic signals to simultaneously apply and release brakes throughout the length of the train, were introduced to overcome the drawbacks of the air brake system on long freight trains, just instead of having a few cars, one part of the train brake, it would have brakes throughout the train more evenly, whatever. Trains stop shorter with ECP brakes, and everything is simultaneous. You don't get the big run-ins that you get with conventional air brakes. Steve Dittmar, former director of research and development at the Federal Railroad Administration, told Verify partner station WFMY. John Rich, the National Legislative Director of the Sheet Metal Rail and Rail Transportation Workers Union, wrote that EC brakes are the greatest safety advancements I have seen in my 40 years in the railroad industry. Now remember, they're trying to determine if that this law, the big reason they asked this question, because Trump stopped this program and it would have saved this train. ECP brakes slow and stop trains up to 70% faster than conventional brakes and are the safest, most advanced train braking system in the world, Rich said. In December 2015, President Barack Obama signed the Fixing America's Surface Transportation, also known as the FAST Act, into law following a number of high-profile train derailments in the U.S. and Canada. The FAST Act included a provision that ordered the Government Accountability Office and other researchers to review the EC brake rule following complaints from railroad companies and lobbyists, including the Association of American Railroads. The GAO report found flaws in the DOT's estimates of potential business benefits of the ECP brakes, including reduced fuel consumption, reduced wear on wheels, and improved operational efficiencies. After the GAO released its finding, the DOT performed a revised cost-benefit analysis, which determined that the benefits of ECP brakes did not outweigh the cost of implementing them. On September 25th, 2018, the DOT issued a final rule to remove the ECP brake rule from the FAST Act. They made it sound like Donald Trump personally rescinded the rule, but that's not even the key paragraph, and I'm going long because I'm getting to it. A few months after the repeal, the Associated Press released a study that found that the DOT's analysis omitted up to $117 million in estimated future damages from train derailments that could be avoided by using the electronic brakes. Okay. As a result of the AP study, the DOT issued a technical correction in January 2019, but maintained the cost exceeded the benefits of the ECP brake rule, according to the Harvard University Environmental and Energy Law Program. Harvard. The Biden administration has not reinstated the ECP brake rule. In Buttigieg's recent Twitter thread, he implied the DOT is constrained by law from reissuing the mandate. No, they're not. The Biden administration... I'm always ready to work with Congress on furthering, or in some cases, restoring our capacity to address rail safety issues. In a February 14 press release, the National Transportation Safety Board, the lead investigative agency into the Ohio train derailment, said investigators had examined the rail car that initiated the crash on February 3rd. Surveillance video from a resident showed what appears to be a wheel bearing in the final stage of overheat failure moments before the derailment, the NSTP said. The wheel set and overheated wheel bearing are currently being examined by NTSB engineers. In an email, an NTSB spokesman told Verify, listen carefully, the train involved in the Ohio derailment was not equipped with ECP brakes. On February 16th, NTSB Chair Jennifer Hamady addressed misinformation spreading about the derailment on Twitter. Hamady directly acknowledged that listen carefully, this is it, we're here, we finally got to it. Hamady directly acknowledged that the ECP brake rule would not have prevented the crash if implemented because the train that derailed in East Palestine was a mixed freight train that carried only 3 Picarded Class 3 flammable liquids cars. Hamady said the ECP braking rule would have applied only to high-hazard flammable trains. Now, what did I just say there? The ECP braking rule would have applied only to high-hazard flammable trains. The train that derailed in East Palestine was a mixed freight train containing only 3 placarded Class 3 flammable liquids. In other words, the law that supposedly Donald Trump took away did not apply to this train. Even if the law was in place, this train would not have been required to have ECP brakes. So the next time someone tells you Donald Trump repealed or revised or rescinded a safety rule that would have made this train not derail, tell them they're full of shit. The links will be in the description when I get done updating the description. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to go. Thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. I intend to be here this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, although I'll be traveling. So it could be short shows, but we'll see. I'm here tomorrow for sure. Hopefully Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Otherwise, you know the schedule. And if I do any additional streams while I'm traveling, you will know because you can find them on Locals. Although I didn't tweet out the show today. That was kind of dumb. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Make sure you share the stream, hit the like button, put a comment in the comment section if you're watching on a replay. And you can sponsor the show 24 hours a day at pdognight.live or Venmo Cash App. That's in the description down below. YouTube Super Chats during the show. Although, if you don't want to give Susan... Well, Susan's gone. Whoever the new person is at YouTube, if you don't want to give YouTube 30%, go right here, pdognight.live. You can do the same thing and still have a lot more letters. No matter how much you donate, you still get 257 characters or whatever it is. So anyway, I got to go. Thanks, everybody. My name's P-Dog-Night, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog-Night, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog-Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog-Night, and I'm out of here.